Hi folks, welcome to the channel and welcome to a very sunny and warm Spain. It's the 25th of March and this morning was the first morning. The weather's been nice, but this morning when I opened my door out onto the balcony, it was the first time I felt the heat. You know, you get off the airplane heat and it hits you up the face. So the weather's been building for the last couple of weeks. It's been lovely, but today it's warm, fantastic. So in this video today, I'm going to talk. I've been here now, I'm coming up in a year, you know, I'm not far off a year, and a lot of time to think. I know what my plans are next, what I'm going to do with regard to Thailand and stuff. I'll talk about that towards the end of the video. But I've been here long enough now that I've formulated a lot of views, and I thought to myself, well, what's the strongest one? What's the most important thing that anyone should consider, in my view, only in my view, before moving to Spain? What it come down to, and it's the obvious one, location. It's all about location. If I was coming again, no one would have known now. I would be thinking differently about it. Now, I'm going to break it down into three subheadings. Number one is weather. Number two is busyness. Is that a word? Yes, is busyness. And number three is cost. But the first one, to a lot of people, is going to be very important. For some people, what I'm going to say next will be obvious, but for a lot, and me, it wasn't obvious. What I failed to recognise before I came here was that in the winter, Spain is cold. It's nothing like UK or Ireland. It's nothing like that sort of cold, but it's cold. It's cold enough that you're restricted. It's cold enough that you can't go out for a walk without putting all your coat on and being well hopped up. And if you're happy with that, that's perfectly fine. But for me, especially being on my own, it really restricted me. You know, I've just had 3.5 to 4 months. Couldn't really do very much, you know. If I hadn't my videos to do, I don't know what I'd have been doing, you know. So it cools down. You get nice days at all times. Even start of January, occasionally a nice day comes along. But the evenings and mornings are freezing cold. Some mornings almost icy cold. And the apartment for about 3 months is cool. Definitely cool enough that you have to have heating on. My God, if I'd have come here and my apartment hadn't had a heating, well, I'd have bought a heater, I suppose. I've bought a heater. But yeah, it gets cold and you have to accept that. If you're someone that's leaving home for full-time life or retiring and you want heat all year round, mainland Spain isn't the place for you. Even if you go southern Spain to Malaga, Marbella, it gets pretty cold in the winter. Just jumping back in that, I don't want anyone to misunderstand what I'm saying. The weather here is lovely. It's boiling during the summer, obviously, warm right into the winter, and it starts getting warm again very, very early at the end of the winter. But there is a period in between where if you don't want the cold, if you want to be able to walk about in t-shirts and maybe get into the pool and stuff, mainland Spain isn't the right place for me. And again, I think I'm biased by the fact that I'm a single person, because if there's not much heat about, there's not much to do, and if you're on your own, that can be quite boring. I'm good at entertaining myself, but I wouldn't stay in this area next winter, because it's a bit like being at home. At home it's freezing cold and wet and windy and you're just going to the house every night and watch TV. Well, although it's not nearly as bad as that here, that's still what I had to do. You know? Evenings, dark, 5 o'clock, 5:30, and if I hadn't got editing to do or something to do with the channel, it's just computer on, watching Netflix, you know, a lot. Where somewhere like Thailand and other places in the world are busy all year round. They don't change. Thailand has what they call a high season and a low season. And all the ones that live there say it's getting quiet now because it's coming into the low season. But it's still super busy, it's still active and alive. And that's because of the all year round weather, all year round heat. Now, so if I thought to myself, now knowing what I know, if I come back to Spain, where will I go? I'm going to look at the Canary Islands, which is Spain, although it's way down off the coast of Africa. Because it is all year round nice weather. But there's downsides, so we're going to talk about in a minute. So that's number one, heat. Number two, busyness. Understand that every resort that I've been in, even what I would consider to be the busiest one in the area, which is Torrevega, they all die in the winter. Vast majority of restaurants, bars closed. You walk up the street midday in the centre of the town or near the centre of the town and it's a ghost town. They're all ghost towns and it's just the way it is. Even walking past apartment blocks where I live, during the winter there's very few people in them, so everything feels closed. It has that closed feeling to it, and of course that's because of the temperature as well, so it obviously relates completely to the heat. But there's really nothing to do. If you're retired here and get involved in local life and become a local and get used to the way Spanish people live, you know, you'd be fine. But I'm not that type. I want to be doing stuff all the time. Guatemala was always quiet. I mean, if you go down to the front during the summer and into the town, yes, loads and loads of people around, but busy but quiet in afternoons, as it always is in Spain. But very busy beaches, etc. But that only lasts 5-6 months and it all goes away. So take now, if this was the UK, Northern Ireland, this day, this would be the hottest day of the year. You know, it's one of those days, it's warm, it's beautiful. But it's still quiet, it's getting busier. You can start to see the odd person with shorts on like me, but there's still loads of people walking about, which I will show you, loads of people walking about with coats and all on. And it's just the culture. So if that's the mindset, then that's why bars and restaurants, lots of them are still closed. And remember, I'm not at all criticising Spain or criticising Spain for someone to retire. It's fantastic, it's amazing. This is about heat and activities, things to do. If you don't want it to be too quiet, if you don't want it to be cold, I'm just saying mainland Spain may not be the place for you. Personally, I've been bored quite a lot of times, and unlike home when you're just accepted, you're just used to it, here you're wanting to do things. So if you can't go out in the evenings because it's dark and cold or whatever, it can get a bit boring, right? Finally, costs. So basically I've been saying in this video, if you want all year round heat, I don't think mainland Spain is the place for you. But if you want Spain, you've got the Canaries. But the difference in the Canaries is it's more expensive. I don't care what anybody says, it's more expensive. As an example, apartments similar to the quality of the apartment that I live in, you will not get for less than €650 a month, and I'm paying €5. And to be honest, I was looking through the prices of apartments. I couldn't find one as good as my apartment at €650. But if you want an apartment with a pool and air conditioning, you'll get one for that sort of money. And that's the cheapest I could find on the website Idealista in the whole of the Canary Islands. I think electricity and those sort of things are pretty much the same, but standard of living is slightly more expensive, so everything's going to cost you a bit more. But definitely, if I decide to come back to Spain, I'm going to the Canary Islands, because I don't want, for as mild as it is, I don't want to put up with any real winter. So I think they're pretty important considerations if you're planning on living in another country and retiring to another country. Whether you're retiring at retirement age or retiring young. Now, one other thing about location, if you're okay with it cooling down a good bit in the winter and it quieting down a good bit in the winter, location is still really important. I've said this in other videos. I'm in Guatemala, and Guatemala is very Spanish, very few expats, and I didn't realise that. I didn't do my due diligence on it. I would have went to somewhere like maybe Torrevega, down closer to, wouldn't I say it a year ago, somewhere maybe around Benidorm, because there's just going to be more to do. So locations, definitely such a big thing. Don't just move to the coast of Spain. Find out. If you look at other vloggers in this area, it's quite the people who talk about their opinions of Spain mostly have that same view, that it can get very quiet in the winter. So there you go, that's my view. Right, so I said at the start, I think I've decided, I'm 99% now sure of what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait to get out of this town because I almost missed the stop line there. Distracting myself talking. So I said at the start of the video that I've decided what I'm going to do, and what I'm going to do is definitely I'm going to Thailand. I want to go this year, so at some point this year I'm going to nip back to home, Northern Ireland. I have a fair few things to sort out if I'm going to Thailand. My intention with Thailand is to go permanently. Whether that happens or not, I don't know, but it means I have a lot of stuff to sort out. For example, the dogs, more complicated with regard to what has to happen to get the dogs to Thailand. I'll have to sell my car. I might take a trip there first, and because I have the dogs, take a trip there first and get organised and get an apartment sorted out. Have to also decide where to go in Thailand. I have mainly been to Pattaya, but I think I may like Koh Samui, so I might go and do a trip and go to 2 or 3 different places to see where I'm going to spend my first few months. Also, if I go to Thailand, before I go, I'm going to arrange you can get a retirement visa from 55 on, and although Thailand's quite easy to move to, you have to go through a lot when you're there to keep your visa. Like, there's a thing called a visa run where people have to go into the closest country I think it's every 3 months, and come back in again to renew their visa, and I want to avoid all of that. So that's the plan. So yeah, so exciting things ahead. And Thailand's fantastic for vlogging. There's just so much to do, and I love the place so much. I've been in Thailand now 7 times, I think, and just love it. I've adapted more and more to the heat here than I did last summer, and I think I can cope now with the heat in Thailand. I hope so. So there you go. I'm going to leave it off there. That's my view on Spain. And certainly what I would say is the #1 consideration is your location. I hope you enjoyed that video, just my opinions. So on this beautiful day, I'm now going to go get the dogs, bring them to the beach. I'm going to leave it off there. So until next time, bye for now.